G'day guys, welcome to lesson number 2 and legend number 2 in Lessons from the Legends. We're learning fighting techniques through the 100 greatest fighters in history and going through in chronological order. So we've started way back in time, way back to when the Marquess of Queensberry rules first began in the late 1800s. We've done Bob Fitzsimmons and stance switching in the first video, and now video number 2 is going to cover another of the all-time pound-for-pound greats of this era, in Joe Gans. Joe Gans, nicknamed the Old Master. Even when he was young, he was nicknamed the Old Master, which is confusing. But anyway, Joe Gans was a long, rangy, lanky, long-armed, brilliant lightweight who reigned as lightweight champion for a long time in the boxing ring, and then also went to welterweight and won the welterweight championship as well. He was incredibly cool under pressure. He was sort of like the epitome of boxing technique, boxing calm, and one of the things that he really popularized was throwing multiple jabs at one time. So for anyone who is new to boxing, your jab is the weapon you're going to use the most. In a typical boxing stance, you have your power hand and your power foot at the back. So if you're right-handed, you have the right hand back here, left hand comes out in front, and it's actually your weaker hand that is going to be thrown more, because it is closer to your opponent. So you can land it a lot more often than having to come all the way across your body and land the right hand. But it does become a very, very effective weapon because, again, it is easier to land it. It is closer to your opponent. And typically, if you throw the one left jab at your opponent, they will typically do what's called a slip to the outside. So they will go that way and slip to the side of your jab. However, they then will be looking to come back up and throw a counterpunch. If you then throw multiple jabs all in a row, so instead of just going the one, or just going dum and then with the cross, if you go and even throw 3, you can go 4. Joe Gans often would throw 3, 4, 5 in a row. The opponent doesn't have many options. They sort of are either stuck in that position, because if you've made one defensive movement, it's then kind of hard to readjust other than anything else than coming back to your stance. So you can keep on sort of like hammering away, and what essentially happens is your opponent doesn't have many options to avoid the punch other than just stepping backwards. So what the multiple jabs in a row really helps you do is back your opponent up to the ropes. And once your opponent is up against the ropes, then they can't move backwards at all. They have to move side to side. And that's where you can often intercept them with hooks from either side. Either they're going to try and escape to their right side, and you can hit them with a left hook. And that's essentially what you want to do, is you want to create that head-on collision, that car crash effect where they're moving into your punch. So if they're moving to the right, left hook. If they're moving to the left, right hook. So that is essentially what you want to do. And there's a really good mindset in boxing where if you can just get your opponent moving backwards towards the ropes, that's a really good goal. And if your opponent is constantly has their back against the ropes, it also limits their power, because often their stance, which is going to be bladed like that, is now going to be square. So you've got a lot less power coming through your punches, especially through your rear hand. So having that ability to sort of like throw multiple jabs in a row, yes, the opponent can definitely evade your first jab, but it's much more difficult to evade multiple jabs in a row. And although these jabs are not going to be your strongest punch at all, they're usually the weakest punch. They are the quickest, it is the easiest one to land, and it is the one that is going to back your opponent up against the rope so you can then do more damage with other punches. And of the litany of techniques we could teach from the old master Joe Gans, who dominated the lightweight division and for a short time the welterweight division as well in boxing in the early 1900s, this would be the most effective technique to learn right now, is getting that jab going and using it not only as a very quick punch to stun your opponent, but as a punch that also shepherds them so they have no choice. They can't really avoid it by any other way of just stepping backwards, and it will help to shepherd them towards the ropes, which is exactly where you want your opponent to be. Thanks so much for listening in, guys. That was lesson number 2 from legend number 2, the old master Joe Gans. And as you can tell, much shorter videos than the other ones. The videos moving forward will be quite short as well. We're just going straight to the technique, and can't wait to see you guys in the future videos. Next up will be legend number 3. with a boxer who, even lighter than than Joe Gans, I just gave it away. So bantamweight Terry McGovern. And he is one of the pound for pound, the greatest knockout punchers of all time. He was nicknamed Terrible Terry McGovern, and we'll get into lessons from him next in the series. Hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out. Bye.